Hello and welcome to Ask Angel. This week's question may press a lot of buttons for a lot of people, so I will give you a warning. There is a trigger warning, or I should say, a lot of trigger warnings in this week's question. And it's one of those questions that I believe everyone has at some point in time in their life that if there is a God, a divine, a higher power, universe, something in charge or in control, the all that is all, that which cannot be labeled. If there is something like that, then why do things happen, such as loved ones passing away tragically? Those of you who have been following the Faith and More podcast know that Haven and I have recently lost our brother-in-law. It was Haven's sister Stephanie's husband, Ray, who passed away from lung cancer. And he wasn't very old. I mean, he was in his 60s, but some people might say that's old, but some people not. Haven's lost her best friend in a tragic car accident. And I lost my best friend, well, 18 years ago on this day from a massive heart attack. And he was only 35 years old. We've had nieces who were passed away and were hit by a train, and they were very young. It brings people to question, how or why these things happen if there is an all loving, unconditional, loving, higher power, God, again, whatever you want to label that. And we really have to change our perspective as to how we view the divine. We all tend to see it as something outside of us, something, the old man in the clouds, so to speak. And it's just something that we've been conditioned that it's always something out there. It's not something in here, or it's not something obvious. It's something hidden. It's something in the shadows that you only see when you die, or if you're fortunate enough when you die that you see. And that's a misunderstanding all completely. I firmly believe in Neil Donald Walsh's little soul in the sun theory. And for those of you who aren't familiar with The Little Soul in the Sun by Neil Donald Walsh, you can Google it, or you can go to season 3, episode 9 of the Faith and More podcast and listen to it, where I read it and share my feelings on it. But I do believe, other religions call them soul contracts. I do believe that we, as souls, before we come into this life, we actually decide what we're going to do or what we want to learn. And when we are through, our soul is through with this life, regardless if our body, this human body, is done with this life. Whenever the soul is completed its mission, it leaves and it goes back to the source. It goes back to the divine. It goes back to the universe. It goes back to whatever you believe that higher power to be. And I firmly believe, I not believe, I know there is a higher power. We all are from it. It is all in us. It is us experiencing it and it experiencing us and itself through us. I mean, that's why we're here. I mean, why do you think the universe created humanity? Because it wanted to experience itself. And as an ultimate perfect entity or energy, better word, energy, it couldn't do that. So by creating us and us living, it experiences itself all the time through us. And we, if we're awake to it, experience it. So, my dear brothers and sisters, I wish I had some kind of magical way of, explaining this to make you all feel better, because I'm sure this really doesn't help much. I do pray it does, though. But again, when we have someone passes that we believe before their time, try to look at it as that their soul completed its mission and is just returning home. And, I know that's very difficult for us because we are very physical beings as humans, right? And, for us to not have that physical with us anymore, it leaves a big hole, a gaping hole. And my advice with that, which I guess is probably another question, should be for another day, but I'll go ahead and share here my thoughts, is that we open our hearts, close our minds, open our hearts to the energy of that being that we've lost. Sit quietly, take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes, and focus from your heart in remembering them and connecting with them. And you'd be very surprised, if not shocked and amazed, that you can feel them and that they're always with you. They never leave you, even though physically they're not here. Energy wise, they are. So, again, I hope this helps you all. And if you have any questions that you would like to pose to me, you can reach me at faithandmorepodcast@gmail.com. Blessings, everyone.